Der Führer empfing den Großmufti von Jerusalem, einen der einflussreichsten Männer des arabischen Nationalismus. Der Großmufti ist das religiöse Oberhaupt der Araber in Palästina und gleichzeitig deren oberster Richter und Finanzverwalter.
Shalom,
Here is a critical point that is generally overlooked. The anti-Semitism of the Nazis had a great appeal already in the mid-1930s to many Arab nationalists and Islamic fundamentalists.
From the mid-30s, from 1936 on, Hitler and his propaganda sections made a great effort to win over the Arab peoples of the Middle East.
We see that the undisputed leader of the Palestinian Arab national movement of the 1920s, 1930s and 40s, Haj Amin al-Husseini, the Mufti of Jerusalem, was a fervent admirer of Adolf Hitler.
The Mufti was one of the founders of the radical Islamic movement, and Hitler saw at once that this man not only could serve his purpose, but wanted to serve his purpose.
there is a very important meeting between Hitler and the Mufti of Jerusalem on the 28th of November 1941, of which we have a full protocol. And what Hitler explains is that this is first and foremost a war of extermination against Jewry, and he tells him to lock this secret in his heart. He is revealing it to the Mufti. It's extraordinary he should choose the leader of the Palestinian Arab National Movement for this revelation, which is in an official German document.
It seemed strange to us that a Mufti who was not a pure Aryan was being received by Hitler. But they said, no, we have the same goal, which is the extermination of the Jews.
The Mufti was sent to the Balkans, where he raised a Bosnian Muslim SS division.
We had several SS divisions, the Handschar division, for example, where they had nominally Croatian officers, but the rank and file of the unit were entirely Muslim, Arab Muslims, and they were bringing them in from all over the world.
I was utterly astonished that the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem had raised a Panzer division of Bosnian Muslims to fight along the Waffen-SS.
(1945), the end of Nazi Germany and the so-called final solution, the Nazi program to exterminate the Jews. But was it the end? A German professor says the spirit of the final solution did not die with the Nazi regime, but was passed on to Israel's enemies in the Middle East.
Absolutely. They are not the Nazis. It's not the same. And Auschwitz, was a singular crime. There are no gas chambers and stuff like this. But you can say the ideology of the Nazis is still alive, and you see it by the arbitrary killing of Jews. If you want to kill any Jew, you go with a suicide belt in the middle of the city, and every victim is a good victim because it's a Jew. This is the Nazi mindset. And if you shoot now the rockets, nobody knows who will get killed. But if it's a Jew, it's always good. It does not matter who he was, what he thinks about politics, what he did in his life. If it's a Jew, he or she has to be killed.
Himself the son of Nazi supporters, Matthias Kunzel is today a professor of political science in Hamburg, Germany, and the author of Jihad and Jew Hatred, Islamism, Nazism, and the Roots of 9/11. A central figure in Kunzel's book is the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Haj Amin al-Husseini, the highest Muslim authority in Palestine and an ardent admirer of the Nazis. As a close friend of SS Chief Heinrich Himmler, the Mufti spent World War II in Nazi Germany. He helped oversee a German shortwave broadcast to the Middle East called Radio Zissen, which tried to win over Arabs and Muslims to the Nazi cause.
Every evening there was this kind of anti-Semitic propaganda in order to influence the mindset of the Arabs. And it was sent not only in Arabic language, but also in Persian language, also in Turkish language.
A faithful listener to the anti-Semitic programs in Persian on Radio Zissen was a young Ayatollah Khomeini, who would later turn Iran into a Muslim theocracy which today seeks the destruction of Israel. Kunzel also documents how the Nazis gave money to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
Nazi Germany put all its weight behind the Muslim Brotherhood.
And the Muslim Brotherhood distributed Arabic translations of Mein Kampf. The Muslim Brotherhood is the parent of terrorist groups like the PLO, Hezbollah, Hamas, and Al-Qaeda. The Mufti living in Berlin hoped to bring the Nazis' final solution to Palestine and was personally responsible for persuading the Nazis not to free 5,000 Jewish children, who were sent to death camps instead. After the war, the Mufti faced war crimes charges, but the Allies feared angering the Arabs and allowed the Mufti to return to the Middle East, where he lived until 1974. Before he died, he handpicked as his successor to lead the Palestinians a family relative named Yasser Arafat.
The Mufti thought that Arafat would be the right guy to lead the Palestinian movement.
The fanatic Muslim world and Hitler both agreed that no ideology can exist beyond theirs. It's all-encompassing.
A secular dogma like Nazism is less dangerous than this Islamofascism that we see today. It's less dangerous because Islamofascism has a religious twist to it. It says God the Almighty ordered you to do this, not the Führer, you know. So it is way more dangerous. It's trying to grow itself in 55 Muslim states. So potentially you could have a success rate of several Nazi Germanys if these people get their way.
Das alles ist Heil! Die große Zeit ist jetzt angebrochen. Deutschland ist nun erwacht.
اونها تصور میکنند که ملت‌های 100 سال قبلند. غافل از اینکه شرایط دنیا عوض شده است. امروز همه ملت‌ها بیدارند و ملت ایران پرچمدار بیداری همه ملت‌هاست. ما می‌بینیم از جنوبی ترین نقطه آمریکای جنوبی تا شرقی ترین نقطه آسیا همه ملت‌ها یک فریاد می‌زنند و همه اونها با پلاکارد و مشت‌های گره کرده فریاد می‌زنند مرگ بر اسرائیل،
الموت لإسرائيل.
I am writing a book because I want everybody to go through this journey.
A convert to Christianity. His name is Mossab Hassan. He was effectively born into the Hamas leadership.
Collaborated with Shin Bet, the Israeli intelligence
Saved countless lives by providing information that disrupted dozens of suicide bombings. These comments are coming from a man who is not just any Palestinian, but the son of Sheikh Hassan Youssef, one of the founders of Hamas. Mossab Hassan is also a young man who himself, until just a few years ago, was president of the Islamic Youth Movement.
It is almost fantastical. How can this Palestinian young man, whose father is a founder of Hamas, completely switch sides with such passion as you're describing now?
He says that after a long journey through darkness, he finally saw the light.
The son of a senior Hamas leader is speaking out on the Islamic militant organization, and he says he's not afraid to die doing so. Mossab Youssef is probably marked for death, but he has a story and tells the AP he's willing to speak out about Hamas and Islam, even if it gets him killed.
To be honest with you, being killed is not the worst thing can happen to me. But if my soul is dead, if I feel the responsibility and I don't say a word of truth, I will die every day. First of all, what land they're talking about? There was no Palestine ever. In history, there was no Palestine. There was no Palestinian state. At some point, I wanted to take revenge from the state of Israel, and later on, I became friends with Israel, and I worked and risked my life for the safety and security of this amazing little country on the Mediterranean Sea. Israel is a democratic country. There are Palestinians who live under the Israeli rule. They have rights better than any Arab country. We look at Arab countries and its political systems. All we see corruption, all we see oppression, and people being enslaved. And why to add one more system like this on a very, very small area that is Israel? Israel has a historical right to that land, more than Palestinians, more than Arabs, more than Muslims. And I think that Palestinians need to look for a better life instead of fight till the last blood drop, trying to establish a state that I don't see that will bring them happiness anyway.